Hello and welcome to the Dare to Differentiate podcast. This is Hani and I'm your host. And today we are going to talk about presence, how it manifests into connection, presence with Hashem, presence with the identity of Hashem, with the manifestation and expression of Hashem. Specifically as it was when he came to visit Avraham. So I'm going to start by reminding you that every single word in the Torah is important. Every single theme, each phrase, each word, each letter, the syntax, the conjugation, each piece has incredible value, and it connects to each and every one of us as Jewish people in every single place that we find ourselves in each state of being we find ourselves in, to give us incredible light, support, calm, guidance, and specifically in the form of the weekly Parsha. I know we're getting it out a little late this week, but this idea of what is the relevance of this week's Parsha to my life. So I'm just going to share a story that happened to the Rebbe Rashab, whose birthday was Chav Cheshvan, which is next week. So when the Rebbe Rashab was 4 or 5 years old, he was a little boy, and he came home from school, came to his grandfather's office, the Tzemach Tzedek, the Rebbe at the time. He burst into bitter, sad tears. And he expressed with deep pain and sadness, why did Hashem reveal himself to Avraham Avinu and not to me? And his grandfather lovingly responded, when a holy Jew decides at the age of 99 years old to give himself a bris, he is worthy of Hashem's revelation and presence, physical presence, in this way in his life. And this story is something that we have heard, that we're told. And it kind of makes it feel like Hashem's presence, Hashem's revelation is only accessible to somebody who is very holy, to somebody who's lived a full life, 99 years of the service of Hashem, of passing many tests, of standing apart from the rest of the universe, of recognizing the creator of the world in a world that celebrated paganism. So it just kind of feels very inaccessible to somebody like us, somebody like me. It feels like we're almost excluded because we don't check those boxes. And because we don't check those boxes, is this even a relevant story for me to hear? Is this a relevant story that I can take with me in 2021? Almost 2022, by the way. I said that quietly, so whoever didn't want to hear it doesn't have to hear. But it kind of doesn't feel like something that is really relevant to us because, I'm not 99. I don't even know if I know anyone who's 99 years old who is a big tzaddik and constantly showing up in a very beautiful, specific way, for Hashem. And then, after 99 years, he gets this beautiful experience of Hashem after he chooses to give himself a bris. By the way, nobody really chooses to have a bris anymore. Like, your parents decide for a baby, a week old. So how can we merit Hashem's highest presence in our lives? And one more very important detail is that when Hashem revealed himself to Avraham, Rashi says that Hashem took the sun out of its sheath, right? So it was very, 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 very hot. And the revelation was so outstanding, right? It was like this flame of fire. So how can we connect with Hashem on that unfiltered level without being burnt to a crisp on contact? Because the reason why the sun needs to be in its sheath is because it'll destroy everything if it's not properly protected, if we're not properly protected from the sun. So it's kind of like that with the revelation of Hashem. If the revelation of Hashem comes in such a incredible, unbelievable type of way, then maybe that's another big reason why it's not really accessible to us. So how can we merit Hashem's highest presence? The essence of Hashem, the revelation, the manifestation, in a way that we can receive it, in a way that we can absorb it and integrate it in our lives without the danger of being literally burnt. The answer actually is, I know we had questions about this, but the fact is that that is kind of where our answer comes from. That a Jew who decides to make himself a bris at 99 years old deserves an intimate visit with Hashem. We are Avraham's children. That means we have access to these great lights. How do we have access to this great light? Let's just backtrack 3 days to when Avraham, Hashem revealed himself to Avraham. What was the access point? The mitzvah of Milah. What is the mitzvah of Milah? The mitzvah of Milah has the power, which is higher than any other mitzvah. It is the only mitzvah of the 630 mitzvahs that Hashem has given us that physically reveals and connects our body to Hashem, which means physically reveals the presence of Hashem on our physical body. And it expresses a very deep, profound physical connection with Hashem in the space that holds the highest and lowest, most realities in one act, right? Because you have the highest, most esoteric, most otherworldly, godly presence in the most physical part, the most intimate physical part of our bodies. And it's so like holding both of these in such an intense way. It's not even something that can be explained. There is no explanation. There is no reasoning. There are all types of science stuff going on now about circumcision and blah, blah, blah. I don't really know. But I know that I can't explain it. So that's the thing. It's not really something that we can explain, but it's something super intimate, something super physical, something super metaphysical at the same time. So every single one of Avraham's descendants is tied into this everlasting physical bris with Hashem, even if you're a woman, by the way, which I am. So because we inherited in our DNA this physical connection with Hashem, that means that we do have the access point to Vayeira, this opportunity for an intimate visit with the presence and the manifestation. We do have the ability and the opportunity and the gateway to this intimate presence with Hashem. What's really important to remember that our physical body is where the physical connection with Hashem is, the physical manifestation of Hashem is, which houses the neshama, which is a piece of Hashem, right? Because it's a piece of Hashem. manifested in our bodies. There's two really holy things. There's our bodies, which are super important, which have access to the presence of Hashem. And then there's a soul, which it holds. I think another really important thing that I want to bring is this idea that sometimes it feels like, or many times it feels like, we don't have access to Hashem. And we don't really have a way to get there. But because we know the story of Avraham, and because we know the story of the Rebbe Rashab, and because we are who we are, and we've inherited what we have inherited, there's a lot of talk about like generational trauma, right? So we're also carrying the generational, beautiful experiences as well. Because of that, we have the opportunity to actually express ourselves in this way, to be like, hey, like I want to see Hashem. I want to feel Hashem's presence right next to me. I want to feel Hashem's presence in every single step I take. I want to feel Hashem in my home. I want to feel Hashem in my body, in my shoulders, in my chest, in my belly. I want to feel Hashem when I'm walking down the street, when I'm in a conversation with someone, when I'm hosting guests in my home. I want to feel Hashem. I want to feel His presence. And I know that it's accessible to me, and I know that I can ask for it. And I would like to invite you this week to not be afraid to ask. Not be afraid to ask for Hashem's presence in your life. For Hashem's physical presence in your life. Not just this idea of like, oh yeah, it's Hashgacha Pratis, oh this, oh that. No. I really want you to feel it. I want you to feel it in an embodied, centered type of way. And yeah, it's possible. It's super, super possible. And that's what I want to wish for you. And I also really want to thank you if you made it to the end of this episode. Thank you for staying with me and for being a loyal listener, for all the loyal times that you listened. I appreciate it whenever you listen. And I am excited for us to feel the presence of Hashem as we move forward in the next episodes and in this episode as well. And I invite you to reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns, as well as if you'd like to sponsor an episode in the coming weeks. Thank you so, so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. And stay beautiful. And see you next week.